NFL Week 5 preview. I'm only interested in one game this week. We can discuss all of them and review all of them at the end of Sunday or Monday or whatever day it is. But 49ers Cowboys. 49ers and Cowboys. This so far is the game of the year. This is a game we've been anticipating on the schedule. It's a rematch of last year's divisional round game. They've played each other 2 years in a row in the playoffs, with the 49ers winning both times, once in Dallas in 21, and then last year, 22, in San Francisco. Obviously, you got two good football teams. Two of the best teams in football. These are old rivals, and it's good to see them both at the top of the league. Two teams that have won 5 Super Bowls. They've been stuck on 5 Super Bowls. They were the first 2 teams to win 5 Super Bowls. Rich histories, great uniforms, great players, historically and in the present. And I'm very excited for this game. Sunday Night Football, 49ers, Cowboys. Cowboys are 3-1, 49ers are 4-0. And you got two really deep and well-rounded rosters. Two teams playing well. What do I see coming into this game? I see a defensive game, a low-scoring game. Sure, there's talent on offense, but it's the defense that I think is a story here. And we had a low-scoring game last year, especially in the divisional round. These teams didn't crack 20 points, and I expect another defensive game. The 49ers have scored at least 30 in every game so far, and I think you can say that this is the game on each schedule for the 49ers and the Cowboys that were circled at the beginning of the year, saying, okay, this is going to be the test. We're going to know how good these two teams are. Earlier in the season, Cowboys haven't really been tested at this point. They played the Giants, who we thought were going to be a pretty good team. They look bad. They played the Jets without Aaron Rodgers. They lost to the Cardinals in Arizona, Joshua Dobbs, who's playing pretty good football, I'll say that. And then they beat the Patriots, who don't look good either. They're really struggling. So 3-1, but you can only beat the teams that are on your schedule. No one's going to take that away from you. You took care of your business. You're 3-1. The 49ers, you could say, I think have proven a little more. They're undefeated at this point. They beat the Steelers on the road in Pittsburgh convincingly, one-sided. They had the worst loss to Mike Tomlin in his career at home. Week 2 was another road game. This one was in Los Angeles against the Rams. They beat the Rams, they're decent. The Rams are a little better than we thought they were. Week 3, they got their turn against the Giants, won a one-side game against the Giants, and the 49ers defeated the Cardinals, who the Cowboys lost to last week. Position by position, coaching. Let's look at the coaching. I say advantage 49ers, though I respect McCarthy. Right now, Kyle Shanahan is on a roll, and he's very criticized out here in San Francisco. And you are held to a high standard out here, whether it's Bill Walsh is the standard. Everyone's compared to Bill Walsh, which really is not fair. George Seifert didn't get much of a leash after he won that second Super Bowl. Yeah, coach didn't get long after winning 2 Super Bowls like George Seifert did. Mariucci. Well, Harbaugh's different altogether. But Kyle Shanahan, he's done very well. Kyle Shanahan's done very well, but he has not won the big game. He has not won the Super Bowl. He's reached the conference championship game at least 3 times. There's a Super Bowl loss against the Chiefs, and we know what happened against the Rams and the Eagles. Can he win the big game? I say, overall, he's done a terrific job coaching. Many teams would be jealous in the lineup to have Kyle Shanahan as their coach. I say advantage 49ers. Quarterbacks. Both quarterbacks have played well. We know Dak Prescott's had his bad games, and he had a bad game. There's no excusing it. I probably think I went a little too easy on Dak Prescott in last year's game. I wasn't nearly as critical as others were post-game. But in my opinion, the game changed. When Tony Pollard went out, they became one-dimensional. It's just as simple as that. The Cowboys became a one-dimensional team, and I knew Dak Prescott was going up against a great defense, and when the pressure's been on against quality opponents, being honest, he hasn't performed. So you have him against Brock Purdy, who still hasn't lost a game yet, and I can be objective, I can be fair and say Brock Purdy has as good of a supporting cast as anyone in the NFL. But for a quarterback that's this young, that's this inexperienced, you can say, he plays like an experienced quarterback, and he's just a flat-out winner. He has intangibles. He's a leader. He just doesn't hurt himself, and he is more than a game manager. He is not just a game manager if you've watched him closely, and he's throwing the ball down the field more, and we saw that especially in this last week, pushing the football down the field. He only had one incompletion against the Cardinals. That's it. Right now, I'd say edge 49ers. Running backs, there's probably no Elijah Mitchell on this, but considering Christian McCaffrey might be the MVP right now, Tony Pollard's very good, and the 49ers usually have success with whoever they have in the backfield, but McCaffrey, edge 49ers. Offensive line, this is one that I would give the advantage to the Cowboys. Better all-around offensive line. Running back, or tight ends and receivers, 49ers with Ayuk, Debo, and Kittle. Front seven, I'm just going to look at the front seven as a whole, and I'm going to say it's about even. This is about as good as it gets on both sides. You could argue that the Cowboys, just from a pass rush perspective, I'd say they are a little better than the 49ers. I'd say they have a little more depth than the 49ers, though maybe just the starting front four of the 49ers is better, but a little more depth with the Cowboys. Linebackers, that's definitely an edge for the 49ers. Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. I'm not counting Micah Parsons as a linebacker. I know he lines up all over the place, but I'm calling him an edge rusher, more of a defensive end. Secondary, I'll also say advantage 49ers with no Diggs. Though they can get picked on at times, the secondary and third corners. Special teams, and the 49ers special teams has been really sharp. I'd say slight edge 49ers. So this is a tough matchup for the Cowboys, and the question is, can they make Brock Purdy uncomfortable? They made Brock Purdy uncomfortable last year, and I think the 49ers are going to try and run the ball early and say, Cowboys, can you stop our run game? And looking back last year, they did a great job locking down Christian McCaffrey. I think they want to make Brock Purdy go down the field, force him down the field, and force the 49ers in third and longs. And the 49ers have been so good at not being in those positions, having third and shorts. Only a few yards to gain. If the 49ers can establish the ground game early with McCaffrey, the Cowboys are in trouble. If the Cowboys can resist and do what they did last year, they're going to make this a game. I mean, I think it's going to be a game anyway, but they can make this a very close game if they're able to limit McCaffrey. But I think the 49ers approach is this: attack the Cowboys with Kittle again. I think that is the mismatch, just as it was last year in the playoffs. And none of this Deebo Samuel running back stuff. Throw him the ball. Get him down the field. Screen them. And, let's see how Ayuk and Gilmore match up. That's a big matchup in this one. And Purdy's so good at getting rid of the ball. They're aware that the pass rush is very good. And the 49ers are going to go in this game, I think, with a run-heavy mindset. But because of all the talent they have, unless you prove you're going to stop them in one way, they're going to approach this in a balanced way. They're going to go with you with the pass. They're going to take some shots down the field. A lot of it is intermediate. But I say for the 49ers, the key is I'd go with Kittle as a receiver. Make the Cowboys tackle you. Yards after the catch. And Christian McCaffrey, I think the middle of the field, Christian McCaffrey as a receiver, more as a receiver than a running back, is going to be a mismatch for the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, what is their strategy? They're going to line up Micah Parsons everywhere. It's not just Micah Parsons versus Trent Williams. They're going to test McKivitz on the other side. They're going to put him over center. I don't see them blitzing much. I don't think they want to blitz. And they feel that they can get pressure with the front four. And force turnovers. I mean, that's just what the 49ers haven't done. They haven't turned the football over. They protect the football. They don't cough it up. Purdy doesn't throw interceptions. He hasn't thrown an interception yet. There could have been some balls he was intercepted against the Giants that weren't. Now let's go the other side of the ball and the Cowboys on offense. They have to run the ball. I just think they have to run the ball because the 49ers tackle so well. They have more depth at receiver this year with Lamb and Gallup and Cooks. They want to test and move CD Lamb around. It's not just going to be Lamb and Ward. They're going to move him around the slot. Even Fred Warner covered him last year at times and did a heck of a job, may I mention. But what changed the game and the tone of the game last year was Pollard getting injured. To me, he is the key for the Cowboys. Get Pollard going and take some pressure off Dak Prescott. Let him get comfortable. Because when they were down to Ezekiel Elliott, that was bad news for the Cowboys last year. I think they have to take some shots down the field themselves. But the strategy against the 49ers defense all year is 3-step drop, balls out. Balls out. Get that ball out as fast as possible. What are the 49ers going to do on defense? They don't blitz much. We know that. Nick Bosa, they've tried to neutralize him as much as possible with just releasing that ball as fast as they can. 49ers want to take Pollard out of this game. They want to get a lead early, and they've done a good job with that. They tackle so well, and if they can get Dak Prescott rattled early, if they can get an early turnover, that can really shake the Cowboys up. And it's different because the 49ers offense is just on a roll right now, more so than the Cowboys, where they can extend the lead. And let's just say go up by 10 points. Because I don't see either of these teams really just breaking away from the other. If they can get some early 3-and-outs from the Cowboys, possibly get a turnover, force a turnover early, then they'll have the Cowboys right where they want them. Because this is the test. I think this is a great test for the 49ers. They haven't had an offense they've played this well yet. And The Cowboys haven't played an offense this good, not even close to this good yet. I mean, when you're talking about the quarterbacks they've played, I'm sorry. Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Joshua Dobbs. Right now, Brock Purdy is playing like there's nothing wrong about saying a top 10 quarterback. I mean, so far this year, he's playing like a top 5 quarterback. But I like the 49ers. I'm definitely picking the 49ers. The Cowboys can win this game. I think they'll make it a very physical game and keep it close. I'll take the 49ers by a touchdown. 10 points at the most, but I'm going to say the Cowboys will keep them under 30. It will be 24-17. I'm going with 24-17. It could be even lower than that. 49ers, but great week. I'm very excited. Let's have a great game, and we'll review it next week.